everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
Join us for a tour of the Star Princess.
Let's
Let's
go.
go! We're aboard the brand new Star Princess, sister to the Sun Princess, for a 7-day Caribbean cruise. She launched in October 2025, carries about 4,300 guests at double occupancy, and spans 20 decks. We'll start at the very top and head down through every common space to show you what the newest class of princess ship is really like. Deck 20 is only accessible at the aft of the ship by some stairs and has some comfy, covered seating. Initial plans of the ship advertise this area as the Cove, but it's just a lounging area at the highest point of the ship.
On deck 19 is where you have the sports level, complete with a jogging track, a sports court, and even a small splash pad. It's pretty windy up here though, but the views are amazing. There's cornhole, a giant Connect 4, and even a shuffleboard. And there's plenty of space to relax.
Down below on Deck 18, the Forward Sanctuary Club is an exclusive area for Sanctuary Collection guests with its own pool, hot tub, and sun deck. Midship, you'll find the fitness center and studio, plus the Lotus Salon and Spa, complete with thermal suites. As you move forward on Deck 18, it opens to a broad sun deck with 4 hot tubs and the star bar that overlooks the main pool deck. All the way forward, you'll also find the upper entrance to one unique feature of this class of princess ship, the Dome. The Dome is a glass-enclosed 2-level venue. By day, it functions like a climate-controlled solarium with an indoor-outdoor pool. After dark, the pool area converts into a performance space with advanced lighting and sound, which can be used for live music, performers of all kinds, and even as a silent disco. Though there are entrances on both Deck 18 and 17, the line for most events starts on the lower Deck 17. Since it only seats 250 to 300 guests, get there early if you want to catch a show.
And deck 17 is as close as you get to a traditional Lido deck on the Star Princess. Forward of the dome is an adults only area with a sea view bar and 2 hot tubs. The attached sea view terrace has stairs down to decks 17 and 16 with amazing forward views and tons of space to lounge around.
As you head midship, there's plenty of open deck space with loungers, and they take you right into one of the food hubs on board. Lido Slice for pizza, Lido Tacos, Lido Grill for burgers and hot dogs, and Lido Green Salad Station wrap around the open deck next to the Lido Bar. These venues offer fresh, fast, included meals and have plenty of seating around to enjoy the ocean views.
They are also great options if you are enjoying one of the 2 nearby pools on board. There are 2 more hot tubs, seating in the middle, and plenty of space for lounging, catching live music, or movies under the stars on the big screen.
Coffee and Cones has free soft serve or added cost specialty ice cream and desserts and coffee creations. And the Mix Bar rounds out the outdoor Lido spaces on Deck 17. Heading inside, staterooms start on this deck, along with the added cost Love by Brito restaurant that can be accessed in the aft of the ship. From Deck 16 down to 10 are primarily staterooms, but the Signature Suite Lounge sits in the aft spanning both Decks 15 and 16 for guests in that cabin category. Deck 9 also has staterooms in the forward part of the ship, including private outdoor cabana decks for the cabana class of staterooms. But midship, Deck 9 shifts to the real hub of the ship, the top floor of the sphere-shaped Piazza.
The Piazza spans 3 decks with comfortable seating on each level and a giant screen that can shift and move around to host different trivias, game shows, and even performances. It's a beautiful venue, but seating can be extremely limited for the more popular events, so make sure you get there early.
The future cruise and loyalty desks, Princess Photo, and Princess Insider areas line the Piazza on Deck 9. Nearby is Alfredo's Pizzeria, one of your added cost casual dining options on board, and some of the best pizza we've had at sea. The 24-hour International Cafe is on the other side of the ship, with all-included small bites and treats, plus a coffee bar for your caffeine needs that also serves the eatery.
The eatery is the Star Princess's version of a buffet. They have fresh made options in this area, from made to order pasta to custom salads and even fresh ramen. There's also a large variety of foods available no matter what time of day, and they even have some grab and go options if you're in a hurry.
Seating can be hard to find at times, and fresh-made food takes a little longer than a traditional buffet, but the taste is worth it to us. Step outside the eatery to the promenade with another grill for burgers and hot dogs, Detroit-style pizza, and free soft serve. This is a great place for al fresco dining, and these are usually less crowded than the Lido food options.
In the aft of Deck 7 is the Americana Diner, a venue for buffet style brunch and lunch. During dinner some nights, they also serve a good variety of made to order diner foods. The hours for this change daily, so make sure to check the princess pattern before heading over there.
Down one level to Deck 8, but accessed via Deck 9, the Wake View Terrace has an aft facing infinity pool and 2 hot tubs with its own bar. Just inside is the Sanctuary restaurant for Sanctuary Collection guests. Moving forward, you'll pass Sabatini's Italian Trattoria, which is an added cost Italian dining restaurant, and some of the shops of Princess that sell high end watches. That leads us to a unique feature of the Star Princess compared to other Princess ships, a non smoking casino zone separate from the main casino. It's small with no table games, and it's not right next door to the rest of the casino, but we're happy to see Princess offering this smoke free option with its own portable bar. Also on Deck 8 is Umai Teppanyaki, an added cost restaurant that has delicious Japanese food. The Piazza middle level is surrounded by the Shore Excursions desk, Crooner's Bar for nightly piano music and cocktails, and Makoto Ocean, an added cost sushi restaurant. A nondescript door nearby leads to Spellbound, the pricey Magic Castle speakeasy experience that requires an advanced reservation.
That leads to the main casino with table games and slot machines. Smoking is permitted at most of the machines here. Unlike most of the other princess casinos, it does not have a full bar, but there is a permanent bar cart that is there to serve the area.
And in the very front of Deck 8 is the upper tier of the Princess Arena Theater. This circular theater is much smaller than most of the other theaters on Princess ships, but it's also more technologically advanced, with modular seating, giant wraparound screens, and a moving stage. It's tiered in a way that there isn't a bad seat in the house no matter if you enter on Deck 8 or Deck 7, but make sure you get there early since space is extremely limited. Outside the lower level of the arena on Deck 7 sits Neon Grove for tweens on one side and the Underground for teens on the other.
The butcher's block by Dario serves up a menu of prime beef cuts for an added cost. Nearby, Good Spirits at Sea is an Art Deco themed bar with nightly cocktail demonstrations. Princess Live is the venue for smaller trivias, game shows, comedy, and karaoke on board.
Just like the other entertainment venues we've mentioned, you'll need to get there early to snag a seat for activities you don't want to miss. O'Malley's Irish Pub is tucked off to the side, which is an added cost casual dining restaurant that also houses lively Irish music daily.
The ground floor of the piazza is surrounded by Bellini's cocktail bar on one side and Coffee Currents on the other. Though the drinks aren't included unless you have a package, Coffee Currents does serve up free donuts, cupcakes, and even cakes depending on the time of day.
The Catch by Rudy is an added cost seafood restaurant, and that leads to more shops of Princess as you head towards the aft of the ship. The traditional added cost steakhouse, Crown Grill, sits across the hall from the Wheelhouse Bar and nearby Fine Arts Gallery. And in the aft of Deck 7 is one of the Star Princess's traditional main dining rooms, the Celestial Dining Room for anytime dining. Directly below it on Deck 6 and connected by a spiral staircase is the Aurora Dining Room for traditional seating, which can only be accessed via the aft stairs or elevators. Both dining rooms serve the same menu, which rotates daily except for some Princess favorites. Most of Deck 6 is crew space and guest cabins, but midship holds the Firefly Park for younger kids and guest services desk.
We actually recommend avoiding booking a stateroom on Deck 6 midship since it can get pretty busy around the guest services area. Deck 4 houses the medical center as well as the landing, which is the embarkation and water shuttle area used at some ports.
It's also worth noting that the Star Princess has smart elevators. Just pick the floor you're going to on the pad outside the elevator and it will assign you a letter. Make sure to press the floor once for every member in your party or else there might not be space for everyone when it arrives. And that's a full walkthrough of the Star Princess from top to bottom. Now we'll share our thoughts about this new class of princess ship after being on board for a week with a special guest. Thank you all for joining us on our tour of the Star Princess. And as you can see, David looks a little bit different today. David is taking a little break so that my sister, Allison, who has never been on the Star Princess before, can join me and give some of her opinions since she's been on some of the older ships. This is her first kind of newer princess ship. So we wanted to give kind of a fresh perspective.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So, first question is, what is your favorite thing about the Star Princess as compared to some of the older princess ships you've been on?
There are many highlights. So I don't have a favorite. I have many favorites. I love the non-smoking casino. There's no smoke in there. The machines were really nice and new. Also, the dome. Rachel can attest. The first time I looked at the dome, I was like, oh, it was so cool. We got to do the candlelight concert and that was amazing. And the buffet, that was also another highlight. It's huge compared to other ships, and there's lots of choices. So I would say those are my top 3 things.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the non-smoking casino is a big deal. Even the smoking casino, honestly, is not as bad as we've seen on other ships. Since it is in the Piazza area, sometimes you'll go in a Piazza and it'll smell like smoke just because they can't regulate the air properly. And we haven't encountered that on the Star so far, so that's really nice. And then as far as the Dome, totally agree there too. And it's also a really cool space to just hang out during the day if you're not really doing much of anything. When we were on the Sun Princess last, they actually weren't letting you serve yourself in the buffet. They served you. You just handed them your plate and then they would portion it out for you. That's actually different on the Star. They do let you serve yourself like a traditional buffet. So you may love or hate that, but food choice has been really good and all of the things have been pretty fresh in the buffet too.
And the space is bigger. Even the casino, it may not matter to some, but the ceilings are higher. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm in a basement. So I think all of those things, the ship is just bright and shiny.
Yeah, and going along with how bright it is, there's a big dome in the center of the ship, and that's where your piazza is. It's huge and has actual seating in the upper levels, which is nice. Not enough of it, unfortunately, but they have some. And just the amount of light that comes in through the dome, I do feel like it feels like a much more open space. And it is a bigger ship than the older ships. Like, we actually were side by side with the Majestic Princess yesterday, and you could tell how much bigger it is. But you can feel that as well. The spaces just seem a little bit grander. There's more room to breathe, even though there are more people on the ship.
It feels more open, which is great. You have more like walkway space. And those kind of things matter when you're in a tiny room, especially if you're like an interior room. You want to feel like you have more space to go out and roam. It's very good to have those larger spaces so you don't feel like you're as cramped. So, yeah.
All right, so now on to your least favorite things about the Star Princess.
Okay, I have 2 big ones. First of all, if you are like me and you're the 3rd or 4th guest in your room, you're having to sleep on not the main bed, but either the bunk, which I'm on, the top bunk, or the couch. And I've been on the top bunk before in other cruises, but I don't remember other beds being this uncomfortable. By all accounts, the regular beds are amazing.
I can attest to this.
Yeah, she's wanting to buy a mattress.
Yeah.
From Princess because it's so nice.
It's nice.
And then, it's going to sound really weird, when you're washing your hands in a public space, they have these newfangled faucets. And you have to maneuver your hands in a certain way to get the soap to come out because they're all underneath the same thing. Sometimes it doesn't work and you're doing like a dance kind of. And so it's really difficult and it sounds stupid, but it's so funny to just watch people like try to maneuver around it.
Well, and the faucet, it has some sort of timer on it that after you get the soap, it won't turn the water on for a certain amount of seconds because it wants you to lather and not waste water. And I get that. Sometimes there's a long line of like 4 or 5 people waiting to wash their hands at these stations. And you're like, well, I just want to, lather and get done with it. And so then you feel even more pressure and then it's harder to use the faucet correctly.
Which, again, it's just so silly, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I think as far as my least favorite parts of the ship, just the overall space for some of the venues. And I know we said it seems very open and very light, and it does. But I mentioned the Piazza already. They host game shows in there now. Like, it's big enough for them to host game shows. But the amount of seating that they have is abysmal. Like, you cannot fit the amount of people that you can fit in a lounge in the Piazza comfortably. And when they do have that in there, there's so many people standing that it's impossible to navigate around everybody. And everybody's kind of running into each other. And there's restaurants all around and there's shops all around. And everything's just kind of crazy. Same thing with the Dome. If they have certain events in the Dome, there's not really a lot of seating in there. The arena is another thing. Like, we showed up about 45 minutes early for both times we went to the arena. And we still had to sit on a pretty far side. So I feel like they have a lot of different entertaining spaces on the ship, but they didn't think a lot of people would want to go to the same one at the same time when really they do. And so they don't have enough spaces for the amount of passengers that they have.
That's true. Because I think that first night when we saw one of the shows, there were people that I had talked to, friends that I made on the ship, that said they couldn't get into one of the shows, and there's two of them a night.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is they either need to have a bigger venue or they need to have these production shows go 3 times during the show or have them run like 2 separate nights. Or they need to have people be able to reserve. I know some other cruise lines do that as well, where you get on the ship and you're able to reserve a spot at a show. But I just think overall they need to figure out the spacing issues.
Yeah. It's spacious, like we said, like the spaces are bigger, just the seating aspect needs to be reconfigured, I think.
And so we were talking about how the spaces feel and how much seating there is or isn't. But that kind of leads into how do you feel about the ship overall?
Well, as a forgetful person, I don't like the fact that the buffet is not on the Lido deck because to me, I keep thinking it should be on the Lido deck and it's not. It just doesn't make sense because it's like that for every single ship that I've been on besides this one.
And every other cruise line we've ever been on. It was on Lido as well. So it's definitely not just a Princess thing. And I think, yeah, our first time on the Sun Princess, which is the sister ship that is very, very similar, it was very much a relearning process to get your mind on straight. Yeah, and it does make the middle levels where the Piazza is a little bit more hectic and crowded, I think, too, because like the International Cafe and coffee area flows right into the buffet. And so in the mornings, like that whole area is just buzzing constantly. And kind of talking about the configuration or just the ship overall, let's talk about some of the activities. You know, obviously this is a week-long cruise. We could not get to everything because there were port days, but we were able to go to a couple of shows in the arena, like we mentioned. We were able to attend some trivias and some game shows. We did a craft. We try to get around to as many things as we can. So what are your kind of thoughts about maybe the cruise director staff or the activities that we did?
I was telling you earlier that Simon, the cruise director, is phenomenal. And even the other supporting activities staff is really good. Like, I feel like they have a lot of good energy. But I would agree that the music trivias have not been great. But I mean, if you want something easy, then that would be good for you. This ship, we only had one craft. And you didn't do it with somebody. It was a little package, and you just
put it together yourself.
There were little instructions on the back. The shows. I thought it was really good. Now, I'm also a millennial, elder millennial, and I liked a lot of the music that they did because it appealed to me. But the production value, besides a little glitch of the lights, a little glitch of the sound here and there, was really good. The production value compared to other ships was great.
Yeah, I will say, compared to the older Princess cruise ships that have more of just your like variety show, go from song to song that may not really interlink with each other, it is a completely different experience. They have actually put scripts to some of their shows, like people actually speak and you tell a story and you have characters and the songs kind of interweave that way. I will say I still don't think some of their song choices made sense together or made sense with the story, but they actually do have original music on some of these shows and on the Sun and the Star Princess. And so it is really cool to see them branching out into doing something different. So I do think it is a really fun experience. In fact, they have acrobats, like they included different mediums in the shows, and the sets are actually much bigger and bolder and different. I really appreciate that too. But one of the main reasons that people go on a cruise is the food. So compared to older ships, how do you feel the Star Princess's food has been?
I think it's been really good. We have done everything from the buffet to International Cafe to Umai, the teppanyaki restaurant, and we did Alfredo's Pizzeria.
And the main dining room.
Yeah, yes. Exactly, yeah. So everything that we've done has been great. Service was amazing as always. It always is on Princess. But then you have options. Like, you don't have to do the same thing every day if you don't want to. There is a premium, that you have to pay for Alfredo's, for anything extra other than the dining and the buffet. But even the buffet, if you wanted to eat the buffet the entire time, it changes every single day.
Yeah, I mean, I think our experiences with food have been just a little bit different. Not everything I've eaten all the time has been hot or even warm, to be honest. The pro is that there's 2 different places to get pizza and 2 different places to get burgers. And the burgers will always be hot because they're being fresh made for you. But the tacos, they're keeping the meat in a warming dish just like they would at a buffet. The pizza, especially downstairs on the promenade deck, that's Detroit style pizza, it's just sitting out on a board waiting for people to eat it. And so twice I've gone to get it and it's just been like lukewarm. And once was like literally a minute after they opened. So they must have made it early for it to get cold that fast. So it's not particularly consistent. but there is a lot of options and they're generally very good. And I think all of the paid options are going to be even better, which is unfortunate because obviously they want you to pay for
Sure.
those options. But like umai teppanyaki was phenomenal. Alfredo's is phenomenal as well. But the buffet is really good. Like, they do change things out. And I will say, there are options to be made fresh for you if you don't like the thought of food sitting out. They do have pasta that you can custom order, and they do have a ramen station. They also have a stir fry station.
But it's true. We've had some inconsistencies.
We're not starving by any means.
Yeah.
And if you don't like something, you can always pivot and go find something else that you do like. But it's just like, David and I do not like to waste food. Like, that's one of our big pet peeves on cruises. When people just leave, they get a bunch of stuff and they just leave it all on their plate. And so we typically won't get things we don't think we'll like or eat all of. And unfortunately, this trip, there's been more food than we normally would wasted because it just wasn't hot, or there were bones in something that wasn't supposed to have bones, or things like that. So I just wanted to point that out. We're still enjoying it. We're still having good food, but yeah, just want to be honest. So we talked about pretty much everything on the ship now, and we were on the ship for a week. I guess, Allison, you already have this ship booked a couple months from now.
Yeah.
So what are your kind of final thoughts, or like maybe what are you looking forward to next time you come on the Star Princess?
Well, first of all, I hated it. Just kidding. I really enjoyed myself. This is a really great ship. It has a lot going on that I don't think the other ones do, but I'm looking forward to coming back to like explore some of the places I didn't go before, food wise and the adults area wise. I'd see those shows again in a heartbeat. So I think overall it's a great ship. I'd highly recommend it. I would love to go on another cruise besides the one in a couple months on this ship. Like, I would take this ship wherever it goes.
So before we close out, thank you for being with us today. And do you have anything you want to plug or anything that you want to let people know that you're doing?
I do have an Instagram, and it's Artsy Allison Designs. Sometimes I post art, sometimes I post my travels, so you can follow me there if you want to see what I'm up to. I usually post memes a lot. It's a good time. I don't take things too seriously there. So.
All right, so you guys heard from Allison and Rachel, and I swooped in, and now I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts on the Star Princess. So obviously we've been on a lot of different princess ships, and in my opinion, I don't share a lot of the same feelings that they had for the ship. I didn't personally like the shows that much. I thought they were interesting, and it is. Actually, Rachel made a really good point. I think it's awesome that they're doing new stuff. It just wasn't really for me, and I don't think they were made for me. It's kind of a very specific market. And now, if you like the traditional shows that Princess used to do, where it's just they're on a stage and they're rolling through songs and they're just complete bangers that you're used to hearing, which is more my speed, I don't think you're going to really like these shows. I do think that the stage is incredible and the backdrop is awesome. I really do think that that part's really cool. So I think things like the stage moving and stuff like that are really cool features that they're going to be able to take advantage of in the future. But for right now, they just weren't really for me. It was okay. Now, another note I wanted to make, Rachel made it all the points for me on the food. I agree completely. It's been very, very inconsistent temperature-wise. But again, the food flavors are all there, the profiles are all there, the layers are all there.
Well, yeah, I didn't mention, like, my pizza wasn't warm, but the pizza is really good. So it's a disappointment because I had one the first day and it was warm and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then the other 2 times it was cold and I was really disappointed because it does taste good. So it's just kind of weird. Like, if they would just give me a microwave in the buffet, I would heat it back up and I would still eat it. It's that good.
Yeah, or microwave in the room would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
So, in my opinion, it's not my favorite ship. I do think it's legitimately gorgeous, though. I think it's beautiful. I love the aesthetic of it. I think that the finishings in every location is damn near perfect. But if you're a traditional cruiser and you like the old school cruise experience, this ship might not be for you in a way, because I think that it might be a little too high tech. They're using a little bit of their space differently. It's just not quite, in my opinion, for a traditional cruiser. And so in my opinion, Princess is on the right path forward. I think that these ships, the Sun Princess and the Star Princess in particular, are doing a lot of things right. And I feel like if they could perfect just a couple little things, I really do think that they're going to be pretty much perfect.
But what do you think? Have you sailed on the Star Princess? Do you have any thoughts about your experience or comments about things that we might have said that you want to let us know? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more travel content from us, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
And we hope this video helped you find the right direction for your next adventure. Bye. Bye.